By 4 a.m., I was curled on my bathroom floor, vomiting bile. By 5 a.m., my roommate Sarah was driving me to the ER while I screamed at every pothole. Acute appendicitis, the surgeon announced after a quick exam. We need to operate immediately. It could rupture any moment. Within minutes, I was being prepped for surgery. The anesthesiologist, Dr. Park, gave me a tight smile as she hooked up my IV. "Just a routine procedure," she said gently. "You'll be out for about an hour." I remember counting backward from 10, and then nothing. I woke up 5 hours later. The first thing I felt was pain, not just the sharp sting from the appendectomy incision, but a deeper, cramping ache in my pelvis. Then I noticed my sister, Rebecca, sitting beside me, gripping my hand with tears running down her face. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you so much, Lauren. You've given me everything." My head was foggy. "What?" Mom burst in, glowing with excitement. 20 eggs. They retrieved 20 beautiful eggs. Rebecca's finally going to be a mom. I blinked. "What eggs?" "Yours, sweetheart," Mom said brightly. "While you were under for the appendix, Dr. Morrison performed the retrieval. Rebecca's IVF rounds failed, but with your eggs, everything's going to work out." I tried to sit up. Pain tore through my abdomen, two kinds, one from the surgery. The other, a deeper ache I recognized from stories my friends had told after fertility treatments. A pain that came from maternal needles reaching the ovaries. You did this while I was unconscious." Rebecca squeezed my hand tighter. "Not to quarreled. You're single, 32, and you said you don't want kids." "I do. I've dreamed of this my whole life." "That doesn't mean anyone can authorize a procedure on my body without my consent." "It was perfectly safe," Mom insisted. "Barely added to your surgery time." "Dr. Morrison's amazing." "Dr. Morrison, the ER surgeon." Mom waved that off. "No, he's Rebecca's fertility specialist. We brought him in just for this. It cost a bit extra, but it's all done now." My brain couldn't even catch up with the shock. While I was unconscious in surgery, they'd arranged for an entirely separate invasive procedure, without telling me, without asking me, without permission. This was a serious breach of medical ethics, I said, my voice shaking. Rebecca looked offended. "I'm your sister. This was a gift. I never agreed to give it." My father walked in holding a coffee. "There's our hero. Rebecca's already at the clinic. They're fertilizing your eggs now. You're going to be an aunt." "No, I'm going to be a biological mother to children I never agreed to help create." Dad's face darkened. "Don't be dramatic. You weren't using them. Rebecca's been through so much." "They're still mine." "You said you don't want kids, Lauren. And that doesn't mean my body is available for someone else's plan." I could barely breathe through the betrayal. I had no idea how deep this went, but I knew exactly what to do next. I demanded to speak with the hospital's administrator. When she arrived, I spoke clearly, despite the pain. "While I was under anesthesia for an emergency appendectomy, an outside physician, unauthorized by your hospital, performed a fertility procedure without my consent. I want the surgical records, security footage, and I want to file a formal report." Immediately, her face went pale. "An unauthorized fertility procedure. 20 eggs, retrieved without my knowledge or permission. I want this investigated." Within the hour, security had sealed off access to the OR. The police were brought in. The hospital board was notified. What they uncovered was worse than I imagined. Security footage showed Dr. Morrison, who had no privileges at the hospital, being escorted in through a back entrance by my mother. Footage captured him entering the OR with non-standard equipment. Meanwhile, Rebecca signed documents in the hallway. But the most damning evidence, Rebecca had live tweeted the entire event. "At the hospital. Today's the day. Lauren's in surgery. In just a few hours, I'll have what I've dreamed of. 20 eggs retrieved. My baby dreams are finally coming true. Thank you to my amazing parents for making this possible." She documented everything. There would be hearings, investigations, lawsuits, medical licenses on the line. But at that moment, all I could think about was how deep a betrayal had to go before it no longer felt like family. She literally documented the crime in real time. Detective Juan, who specialized in medical assault cases, was horrified. "They coordinated this. Your family actually planned to steal your eggs during emergency surgery." I showed her the text messages I found on my phone from the week before. "Mom, Lauren's appointment with her gyno is Thursday. Rebecca, can we do it then? Mom, no, she'd need to consent for that. We need an emergency situation. Rebecca, this is taking too long. I'm 38. Mom, be patient. Opportunities come. They've been waiting for me to have a medical emergency. This is conspiracy, Detective Huang said. Premeditated assault, theft of genetic material. And since they've already fertilized the eggs, we're looking at reproductive coercion. While the police built their case, I called the fertility clinic. You have genetic material that was stolen from me, I told the director. 20 eggs taken without consent during unrelated surgery. If you implant even one embryo, you're complicit in reproductive assault. Ma'am, I have paperwork here signed by you. Check the signature and the timestamp. That signature was forged while I was under general anesthesia having my appendix removed. The clinic immediately froze all procedures, but it was too late. Rebecca had already had 5 embryos created. 5 potential children with my DNA, created without my knowledge while I was unconscious on an operating table. I posted everything on social media. The security footage, leaked by a sympathetic hospital employee. Rebecca's tweets, the text messages planning the theft, everything. My sister stole 20 eggs from my body during emergency surgery because she's infertile. My parents helped. They drugged me, invaded my body, and stole my genetic material to make themselves grandparents. This is what reproductive coercion looks like. The internet exploded. #EggThief became the top trending topic. Rebecca's employer, a prominent law firm, saw the footage of her signing consent forms for procedures on an unconscious person. She was fired within hours. Dr. Morrison's medical license was emergency suspended. Turns out, he'd done this before, performed unauthorized procedures on unconscious patients for the right price. Dr. Park, the anesthesiologist who kept me under for 5 hours instead of 1, broke down and confessed. Rebecca had paid her $50,000 to extend the anesthesia and look the other way. But my parents were the worst. They went on local news, trying to spin the story. Lauren is being selfish, my mother told the reporter. She has dozens of eggs she'll never use. Rebecca only needed 20. We were trying to create life, create grandchildren. How is that wrong? The reporter's response was brutal. You drugged your daughter and stole her genetic material. How is that not wrong? She was already unconscious. For appendix surgery, not egg harvesting. The eggs would have gone to waste. They weren't yours to take. The interview went viral for all the wrong reasons. My parents became the face of reproductive entitlement. People so desperate for grandchildren they'd steal genetic material from their own daughter. The criminal trial was a sensation. Rebecca, my parents, Dr. Morrison, and Dr. Park all faced charges. The prosecution presented it simply. Lauren Henderson went into surgery to have her appendix removed. While unconscious and vulnerable, her family orchestrated the theft of her genetic material. They stole her eggs, fertilized them, and created embryos, potential children, without her consent. This isn't just assault. It's an attempt to force someone into biological motherhood against their will. Rebecca tried to play victim. I've suffered 7 miscarriages. 7. Lauren has never wanted children. Those eggs were being wasted. The prosecutor destroyed her. Lauren's reproductive choices are hers alone. Your infertility doesn't entitle you to her body. But she's my sister. That makes the violation worse, not better. My mother took the stand and actually said, "We did what was best for the family. Lauren is selfish, keeping all those eggs when Rebecca has none." The judge interrupted her. "Mrs. Henderson, are you actually arguing that you have the right to harvest your daughter's organs because you disagree with how she uses them?" Eggs aren't organs. They're genetic material taken from organs through invasive surgery. If you'd taken her kidney while she was unconscious because Rebecca needed one, would that be acceptable? That's different. How? Mom couldn't answer. The verdicts were unanimous. Rebecca got 8 years for conspiracy, assault, and theft of genetic material. My parents got 5 years each. Dr. Morrison lost his license and got 10 years. This wasn't his first offense. Dr. Park got 3 years and would never practice medicine again. But the hardest part was the embryos. 5 embryos. 5 potential children with my DNA sitting in a freezer. Rebecca begged from jail. "Please don't destroy them. They're my only chance at motherhood. They're my genetic material, stolen from me. But they exist now. They're Brian's too. Brian, Rebecca's husband, had divorced her the moment he learned the truth. He thought I donated willingly. The court ruled the embryos had to be destroyed. Rebecca screamed at the verdict. "You're murdering my babies." "They were never your babies," I said. "They were my stolen eggs that you turned into embryos without my consent." The destruction happened on a Tuesday. I didn't attend, but I felt it. The strange relief of knowing my stolen genetic material wouldn't be used to create children I never consented to. Rebecca wrote me a letter from prison. "You've destroyed my life. All I wanted was to be a mother. You have eggs you'll never use, a uterus you don't want to fill. I have empty arms and a broken heart. How can you be so cruel?" I wrote back, "You destroy your own life when you decided my body was your property. My eggs aren't community resources. My uterus isn't a public utility. My reproductive choices aren't family decisions. You violated me in the most intimate way possible. You tried to force me into biological motherhood while I was unconscious. That's not desperation. That's predation. It's been 3 years. I still have nightmares about waking up from surgery, finding out pieces of me had been stolen. I still feel the phantom pain sometimes, the specific ache of egg retrieval I never consented to. Rebecca will be released in 5 years. She'll be 46, likely past her fertile years. She writes sometimes about the unfairness of it all. How I've stolen her only chance at motherhood. My parents will be out sooner. They write about forgiveness, about family, about moving forward. But there's no moving forward from this. They didn't just steal eggs. They stole my bodily autonomy, my trust in medical professionals, my sense of safety in my own skin. Last month, I got married. My husband Tom knows the whole story. We're talking about having children when we're ready, on our terms, with full consent. My parents won't know. They won't meet their grandchildren, not because I'm cruel, but because people who steal genetic material from unconscious women shouldn't be trusted around children. Rebecca won't be the aunt she dreamed of being. She'll be the cautionary tale I'd tell my daughters. Your body is yours. Your eggs are yours. Your choices are yours. And anyone who tries to steal those choices, even family, especially family, is committing a crime. They wanted grandchildren so badly they were willing to steal them from my unconscious body. Instead, they got prison sentences and a daughter who will never speak to them again. They had no idea what I would do next. Now the whole world knows. Reproductive coercion is assault. Stealing eggs is theft. But we're family is not a defense. It's a confession.